Maybe some of us already know the story about the Titanic, which hit an iceberg and caused the ship to sink on April 15, 1912. In that incident, the crew immediately took rescue action by loading several passengers into lifeboats and lowering them into the freezing waters. Did you know that only 20 lifeboats were successfully lowered to the surface of the water? And most of the lifeboats still have a lot of empty space that could be used to save more people. Even though there were hundreds or even thousands of other passengers screaming for help, most of the lifeboat crew were afraid to return to the side of the ship to save them. One by one the lifeboats rowed away from the place, and there was only one lifeboat, namely Lifeboat 14. Harold Lowe, who did what no other crew did. He also managed to get several other lifeboats to come with him to save several passengers who were above the water's surface. Although they cared about the people in the lifeboats, they cared even more about saving the people dying in those freezing waters. He knew he wouldn't be able to save them all, but he could do what he could to save some of them. We need to realize that our lives have been blessed by God so that we can be a blessing to other people who are in need. Our life is not like other lifeboats which have seen the needs and rowed away, but rather like the Lifeboat 14 that come to answer the needs of the least, the last and the lost. Norman Cousins said, "The tragedy of life is not death, but we let die inside of us while we live." As time progresses, the relationship between each other becomes more distant. Most people are only care or prioritize their own interests. Just as what said in 2 Timothy 3:1-2a, "But know this, that in the last days, grievous times will come. For men will be lovers of self and lovers of money." Most people are willing to blind their conscience, in order to achieve their goals, without caring about the lives of those around them. There is an interesting story in the Bible, namely about Lazarus and the rich man. The rich man enjoyed life while he was still alive, but Lazarus always lay near the door of the rich man's house, and wanted to satisfy his hunger with what fell from the rich man's table. What's interesting here is, after Jesus explains about these two characters, he says that they both died. Lazarus was carried by an angel to Abraham's bosom, but the rich man suffered in Hades. Jesus did not explain that the rich man was a bad person or a sinner. He was just a rich man and enjoyed all the blessings he had. We don't know the exact reason why the rich man ended up miserable in Hades. But what we can know from the story is that the rich man just enjoyed his life, without caring about other people who are in needs, even the people on his doorstep. Maybe he was afraid of running out of his blessing, if he gave it to someone else. Or maybe he was afraid of the disease that Lazarus had, would pass on to him, or maybe the rich man was simply doesn't care about others. Whatever it is, the point is that he doesn't really understand that the blessing he has received is so that he can be a blessing to others.